Alright, so who would like to do recap?
Would either of you two like to, or should I?
Go for it.
Go for it.
So we picked up last week, shortly after we had gotten Leuven revived. So with that, Nilvarius spent some time working with Leuven, trying to figure out uh, where his mental state was, how his magic was, basically evaluating and trying to help Leuven in any way that he could. Sabo started on setting up his community bloodletting machine. Spent like almost 3 weeks doing that. And while they were both working on that, Kevin was trying to figure out how to uh, break the curse on Greystone. So he tried to recruit Linzel for help. Linzel offered to help in exchange for his help first. She wanted to get a trade deal set up with a dwarven settlement. She knew of one for sure, about 6 days away to the northwest, and they suspected another one to the south. So we decided to go check out the one to the northwest after everyone was done with their tasking and whatnot in the city. When we got there, we discovered it was a singular mountain with a very heavy door on top. We were able to get that door pushed open after realizing the warning on it was for ancient humans and more than likely out of date and not directed at us anyway. We got inside, we did some talking with one of the citizens inside who directed us to the king, where we got a trade deal secured. We let Linzel know, and they started sending their negotiators along. And during that conversation, the king mentioned that there was a monster in the basement. Nilvarius was intrigued and wanted to go check it out, so he traveled for about 2 days to go find it. Got sight of it for half a second before teleporting out because it would have killed him otherwise. And while he was doing that, the king was under explicit instructions from Nilvarius to get Kevin drunk. So
He
we
said
should.
to make sure to introduce you to Dwarven Brews. He said nothing about you getting plastered. That's just par for the course, though.
And I think we ended off with Nilvarius on his return trip up or just arriving back to us.
Alright, so picking up where we left off. So, Nilvaris, you return to the others?
Yeah, because I came back. I went back to the ship, and then I actually asked Isla about what she thought based on his observations. And she, if I recall correctly, she said it might be a monstrosity, whereas it was actually like some sort of hybrid creature that seemed diabolic in nature, but seemed to have mixed traits with the
Yep.
mythical Tarask. And after that, I presume we started heading on our way back home.
Yep, I think that was the plan.
Okay, which home are you travelling to? The capital or
Capital to find Linzel.
alright.
We have wheel spins.
Right, from the cancelled session last week. Go ahead and roll. Nilvaris, can you roll me 1d100?
That's a
Oh, sorry, that's
favor,
divine favor.
Divine blessing.
Okay. That's my second divine favor. What the heck is a divine favor again?
That is something for James to deal with.
Oh, okay. Because that's my second one I've gotten so far. All someone described it as is I recall that a deity is taking interest in me in terms of like I'm a TV show. That's how it was described to me.
Yeah, it's about right. I don't think any of us have seen any concrete evidence of what that officially does that we could confirm is from that.
But you have experienced the effects.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I have 3 negative ones. I don't really need another.
Do the gambling thing. Do it. Yeah, do it again.
I'll keep that.
Alright.
But that's like a net loss of 1 inspiration. But I guess it doesn't.
Okay, but if I go again, then
Then you gotta get 6.
well, I mean, I can do one more, I suppose, but then yeah, because I got way too many of them.
See, it was worth it.
Worth it.
Roll
Yeah,
the
you're
d100.
right.
Holy shit, roll again. Roll a d12. A boon bonus of +1 intelligence.
Nice.
That's right. One more thing to manage here, but fantastic. I'm trying to sort out this.
I have actually figured out the actual lines to affect your ability scores. If you add
Yeah,
it
do you
as an
need
actual
the do you
item,
need the rule element for it?
I have the rule. Yeah, I
Um,
have it.
I have it as well. I'm still. trying to make the forging hammer work.
Send me the details on it. I'll play with it.
I'll manage.
Okay.
Where's Nia at?
They won't be here this week. Can I get 60-10 please for travelling?
Who wants it? Oh, there you go. All right, we got a
2d10
1, then a
please.
10.
What was that?
2d10 please. Okay, so as you're flying over the land, you see what appears to be a small campsite. Can't be more than 24 people there.
Do we say hello to the people?
As usual.
Yes, we say hello to the people.
Okay. As the ship approaches, you see 8 armed knights step out of the tents. There was 1 sitting on patrol, so 9 in total.
What do they look like?
They appear to be human. They're not wearing any insignia, at least none visible. They each have a silver white cloak, and their armor appears to be steel.
Have we met someone who looks like this before?
No.
Send down the
But-
tactical, Kevin.
Yeah.
Get low, drop the ropes. Send down the tactical, Kevin.
Okay. So, Kevin, you descend upon them. None of them draw their weapons.
Oh, that's good. I don't either. I just say hello.
Greetings. Are you a dwarf?
Yes.
You were taller than we expected you to be.
Okay. James, just coming from the civilization of the dwarves, I'm a relatively short dwarf, right?
Hmm. What's
Medium
your height?
size? Let me see. 4 foot.
Medium.
No, this is about average for a dwarf.
Then dwarves are taller than we knew.
So what are you guys up to?
We are explorers.
Oh, nice. We kind of are too.
That ship.
Yes.
I know you know this already, but it does not go without saying it flies.
That it does.
You must be able to fight many dragons with that.
Actually, not yet. The 2 dragons we fought were with a different ship with the water. Way before we got the flying one.
I see.
Have you ever wrestled a dragon?
No, I have not. My name is Sidork.
Hi, Sidoric. I'm Kevin.
How are ranks within your civilization? Is there nobility, knighthood?
Uh, not really.
How does someone come to be assigned such a vessel?
So it's just kind of like my group of like friends and I. It's just ours. We just own it. It's not part of like a nation or anything.
Oh, you are nationless, homeless.
I mean, not exactly.
Would you like to return with us to our land? We have just
Where's
begun
your
making
land?
a return trip. To the far north.
What's it called?
Give me a moment. Aaliyah.
Aaliyah?
Yes.
So wait, you said you just started your return trip?
Yes.
And you're from the north. So you're coming from the south.
Not much further south.
So like, did you guys make it to the nation that's like southeast, just over there?
There's a nation southeast of here. No,
Yeah,
we
that's where we're
didn't.
going.
I
That's
see.
kind of where we kind of sort of live at the moment.
How far?
James, how far for our ship left to go in the travel? Was this the day one?
Yep, that was day one of the 6-day trip.
I mean, for us, it'd be like with that ship there, it'd be like 5 days that way. But like on foot, it's gonna be a lot longer.
I see.
But that's to the capital, though. So like to the outskirts, it might be a little sooner than that. I don't know. Are you trying to find other nations like that?
Fine, yes.
You just like mapping them out and like making relations and stuff?
Yes. We're not supposed to make contact or reveal ourselves to them, but we are supposed to. Wow. I'm sorry, I thought you said you didn't belong to a nation.
I mean, kinda we do, but we travel all over the place. So we kind of like somewhat live there when we're not traveling all over the place, but we mostly just live on the boat.
And is that a nation of dwarves?
No, the nation of dwarves is like a day that way. I'll point to the northwest.
Up that mountain?
Yeah, there's a big door at the top.
I see. We missed it by a day. Well, that was bound to be found eventually. You have brought us good fortune.
Well, that's good.
They reach for their coin pouch.
What is that for?
They take out a small stack of coins, about 30, and they hold it out to you.
No, I don't need that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
But assistance deserves a reward.
Yeah, but you're traveling on foot. I got a boat. You probably need that more than I do.
Oh, we travel on horse.
Well, you gotta feed the horses somehow.
We conjure the horses.
Oh, magic. Magic horses.
Quite right.
I guess you don't need to feed the horses then.
That we do not.
Considering they're having a nice, pleasant conversation.
Hold on a second, Sabo. I mean, if you got magic horses, I think my friends probably want to talk to you. If that's okay.
Of course, you're all welcome to join us for dinner.
Alright, I'll go let them know. I'll climb back up the ropes.
All right. I'll
Explain.
come down this time.
I'll explain who these people are and that they have magic horses and they're from a nation called Aaliyah, like way to the north. And they want us to have dinner with them.
I'll join.
It's a lair.
Alea.
Alea.
Yeah, Nilvarish comes down to join.
Have Nia just hover the ship while we all go down for dinner.
Greetings. Wow, we
Hello, I'm
expected
Sabo.
humans. You're quite thin for a dwarf and your ears are abnormal. Would you perhaps be a halfling?
I'm a gnome.
A gnome? We do not have much information on your kind. It is an honor to meet you. And you, by your pointed ears and stature, you must be an elf.
That I am.
Are there any dietary requirements?
No, none at all.
Very nice of you to ask, but yeah. So Kevin tells us you are exploring. What is your nation looking to trade?
No, we're not much in the service of trade.
Huh?
Though I cannot speak for what the Emperor requests.
What's your normal foreign politics then?
We prepare for the nation to show weakness, and then we offer the people a better way.
Huh. To clarify, this is not the same guys who we hired ships from, right?
Nope.
Is that really a better way, or just a nice way of saying that you conquer them?
We never use a weapon to hurt an innocent.
Oh wow, Kevin would be a fan of that. That's interesting. Do you judge innocence by your own laws? Or by the laws of their society?
Anyone who stands against a majority tends to be breaking some sort of rule. So, if some knight in an enemy's nation, or even in our own, stands up, draws their weapon against their own kin, well, it's fairly obvious who's in the wrong there. If one knight from an enemy nation draws a weapon against us, then they would be deemed, well, not necessarily deemed, but they would become the threat. And would protect them, well, would protect the society that we're assisting from them.
What do you think, Kevin? Does that sound reasonable to you? Kevin's our expert on being nice.
I mean, it's not really my place to judge how they operate, but that sounds fine enough.
A whole nation with such morals, that sounds impressive. Do you have... there are a lot of... I suppose there must be very little crime in your nation then.
We would presume if we have less crime than any other, then it's only by a smidge. Darkness exists in all man's heart. And proportionately the same number of people should be making the mistake to give in. It is simply that we let the noble rule.
And the noble of your country who are not corrupted.
No, they would not be noble if they were.
I see. Would your nation be okay with us visiting someday?
Our nation is open to all without a home.
And sorry to go back on the trade question. Could you just let us know what kind of things you produce and what kind of things you lack?
I do not know what kind of things our nation might lack.
Oh,
I can
kind
tell
of
you.
things you produce then?
I can tell you that we produced steel, probably on a scale unlike any other.
Oh.
Our Eldritch Smiths, they are impeccable. Purest steel you might ever find.
Allow me to examine a weapon, perhaps, in that case?
I can do better than that. He hands you a steel ingot.
Okay, I'm going to examine it.
Okay. As you use some of your smithing tools to examine it.
As I use the +5 adamantium smithing tools.
Yep. You're coming across no impurities in this steel. It is of a purity that you've not come across before. You would think that this was
What?
dwarven made with the pure level of purity.
This is indeed fascinating.
I'm glad you find it so.
Suppose also you would have no lack of the raw material to make this.
We have a valley that we mine from. I'm told that in the time before the shifting, we used to have many mountains as well.
Thank you. Uh, so yeah. I'm done. I'm just gonna eat.
Yep. They serve up soup.
It's a good soup.
It's acceptable. You've eaten worse, but more often than not, you eat much better.
Navarius waits till everyone else starts having this soup before he even touches it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the soup. It's fine.
Alright. So
I
after you all...
would like,
Sorry, go ahead.
just in case, to roll perception on, on if they're being honest or not.
Make me an insight
Just in
check.
case.
Well,
They're an insight skill now.
yep.
I don't see it. I don't have it. In intuition?
Yep, intuition, sorry.
They haven't rebalanced my things yet. Wait a second.
Right, so would you like to make a perception
Plus-
check instead to see if you can pick up on if the soup is poisoned?
I mean, I'll start with this, and then I'll do the perception check on the soup as well. What I will use an inspiration.
Double nat one. Double. Oh. Yeah, you don't come across any darkness with these people. They don't seem to have any hostility towards you and mine. And the soup, while it's not made very well, it doesn't seem to be poisoned. Though, your worst meal that you make is better than this by a country mile.
I will stomach it, I guess.
Alright. So as you all finish eating, they ask if you want to return with them.
Uh,
We can provide you a home. A place you can truly call home.
suppose we'll consider it, but we do have a job we need to finish. Actually, if after dinner, also, there's one more thing I can think of. Is there any chance you could show me the horse spell that you use?
Yes, we can. They cast Marvelous Mount.
I call Nia to pet the horse.
I'm assuming
Alright.
one among them is the actual spellcaster, yes?
Seems that they're all capable of casting.
Which tradition did they cast it with?
Occult.
Um, Laris, do you think you could adapt this for
I'm
our
trying to
use?
actually. Oh, I was thinking. I was trying to figure out how. I'm trying to find it in the Foundry.
Apparently, it is arcane. It can be cast with all traditions. Apparently,
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. What level is it?
Second level.
Sec-
There it is.
Yeah, I found it. There's only one problem with it is that you can only. It's only one. Pretty much one person has to. They're casting it for themselves. You only summon one steed with each cast. But it's still
Hmm.
useful to actually learn, since I don't have that in my spell book. would you be interested in trading a spell? I'm quite interested in it, and I'm sure there's something that you can perhaps learn from me.
Just so that you're aware, a occult caster can't teach an arcane caster.
Oh, okay. It's a completely okay.
Is it weird
Well,
that they sound like paladins but they use occult?
I'd imagine by your standards it would sound weird.
well, never mind then.
Uh, I've also forgive me if this is rude. I mean no intention. But I assumed you were champions of some sort. But the champions I know tend to use a different casting tradition.
Tradition.
Yes, champions I've met, I suppose, tend to use divine casting.
What do you mean?
The way that there's different ways of casting spells. How would I
Yes,
describe
the
occult?
smith. Um. So, occult is more ritualistic, less consistent in the exact portions of materials used.
So it's
There's
similar
less
to arcane,
known
where
about the rules for it. It's more
what I mean is
intent-based, more symbolic and representative than fact in terms of the difference between it and arcane.
but it's not like divine where the source is completely different.
Well, the source of each form of magic is completely different for arcane, divine, primal, and occult.
That's my question. What do I know about the source of occult magic?
Very little.
Even though Nia practices it sometimes.
You'd know as much as Nia knows, which is next to nothing.
I'm just gonna say, well, I'm quite familiar with casting spells by using the magic around us. That's how I do it, and by casting spells by using the faith of people and sourcing it from divine entities. I'm not really sure how the type of spells you're casting even works.
I'm not understanding what you mean.
Oh, well, I
There's
suppose
only one way to cast magic. You are casting magic. I mean, each person personalizes it based on their style, but there is only one magic.
I suppose
That's can you perhaps show me some of what you do so that I may observe? Because magic, I also believe is magic in its form, but we have different ways of expressing that magic. For example, primal magics draw straight from nature itself. Divine magics draw from a far more divine source. And arcane magics draw from, would it be appropriate to say, well, the well springs of the world, or innate magic in the air? What's the proper
Arcane
nomenclature?
draws from the ambient magic in the air.
Arcane magic draws from just the ambient magic in the air. Occultism is its own thing that we're not all that familiar with.
I'm not understanding what you mean by arcane, primal, divine, and occult.
Can you perhaps cast a spell so that I may observe and see its effects? It seems to be very different, but we're not familiar with it. There hasn't been really an opportunity for any of us to actually perceive magic born from a more occult source.
Yep, they cast Bless.
Okay, so what can I probably do to take note of this?
Roll
To actually
occultism.
like. I'm actually gonna see if I can hire.
I'm also observing, obviously.
Does my arcane sight reveal anything interesting as well? Since it is still a magical effect.
Okay.
I should not have pursued a lead. It's 32.
Okay. So is this a general check on it, or is this looking for anything in particular?
Is that directed at me?
For each of you, really. But Nilvaris.
I am
Um,
trying to figure out the source.
Yeah, I'm trying to analyze the actual source. Where are they drawing from?
Okay. So you both recognize that their casting type is pulling from something external. Sometimes, when you're casting a ritual spell as an arcane, you are drawing from the very air itself. When you practice your spells of a morning to prepare them as a wizard, you draw that magic into yourself, and then you prepare the spell that way. When you practice as a primal caster, you draw it from the very ground beneath you to prepare a spell, and then you expel it. With these people, they appear to have drawn it from something beyond themselves, but something not close. Some distance seems to have no difficulty when it comes to this form of casting. The distance from the source of their magic. Whatever they're doing, they're calling it from quite far away, as you see streams of magic twist and twirl around them as they cast a spell on Varius.
Interesting. Your people, you draw magic from a vastly different source that's somehow far away, something hard to extrapolate. With arcane casters, we draw it straight from the air, magic that's just innate in the world around us. But you're drawing it from a very distinct source from far away, for lack of a better term. Does that make any sense to you?
I'm hearing what you're saying, and You draw it from the air, and we draw it from the air. You've mentioned that they draw it
You
from the
do.
ground, and we draw it from the ground.
From what I'm able to observe, you don't. You draw it from some other source.
We draw it from wherever it comes.
Hmm.
If it comes from the air,
It's,
then we take it from the air. If it comes from the ground, we take it from the ground. There is
I
no
think
limiting.
it's just a difference of understanding. You've only familiar with your type of magic, so it's natural for you to consider it to be the right way, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there is no wrong. There is no wrong way. But what's more interesting is that it's different. It's fundamentally different from the three types of magic that we know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's more just a curiosity about where exactly you're drawing it from. It's just it's very different.
Would James, would we say that it's most similar to divine then, as that tends to?
It doesn't really share enough characteristics with any kind of magic. I mean, there's small overlaps with each type, but they are distinct enough that there is no closest match.
Does divine at all also draw from like the god? Just
That's
faith from
usually
within.
it's usually believed that it draws power from gods.
But
That'd
when
be the
observing
common
it,
belief. Yes, it comes from gods.
so kind of when observing divine, we can also see that it might be coming from somewhere distant.
Well, no, when you're casting divine, it comes from you, but that power came from the god.
Uh-huh. If observing during preparation, would we be able to see a similar effect of the power coming from the god?
You would have to study such for an extended period of time to know for sure.
Okay. Okay, we can do that in the future. Thank you for indulging us. This was very interesting. If hmm, do I know what else well, I suppose the steel. There's anything else you would like to ask us? Happy to repay you in kind.
You've mentioned gods. Are they real?
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're real.
Very much so.
Why would people worship individuals?
Some people want something to worship. I don't know. I imagine can be similar to the beliefs you hold. Uh, they, I imagine, some type of direction. Other people don't have a direction of their own. They might choose to follow it.
I cannot speak from that because I understand your similar kind of trepidation about the thought of it. But some individuals, I wouldn't say bind themselves to a god, but more that they become a focus for yourself, and from that connection you need to when you sorry, what am I trying to say? When you devote yourself to a god, you're also devoting yourself to an ideology. When you tap into that, that's where divine magic can actually come from. It comes from you, but it also comes from by extension, at your attachment to the deity whom you've sworn yourself to. But by that extension, you're also devoting yourself to the ideologies of that deity. For some, it can simply be defending the weak, upholding the law. Others are far more malevolent. Some are just after the pursuit of knowledge. Sometimes too for the sake of learning, other times to squander. It depends from deity to deity, but in the end, it's about devoting yourself to that certain ideology, and from that, you gain strength.
And people do this for that. Why would someone give themselves up when magic is everywhere for them?
There's different paths. Obviously, your entire society, your entire culture is revolved around your type of magic that you utilize, and it's second nature to you. But that's not the way it is through most of the world. You have to find other means. Some people devote themselves to a deity, others delve into great libraries in search of lore, others spend time with nature. It's just that all it is different. It's just a different source.
Everyone in your society practice magic then.
Everyone learns. Not all reach the level of knighthood.
Well, in some of the world where more than one source of magic is available, different people adapt at different types, and when they have the choice, I suppose, they might go into the type of magic that is closer to them by nature. Quite a lot of people don't go into magic at all, as they not considered adept enough.
This is an interesting thing to learn. I'm sure our scholars would love to hear this sort of knowledge.
Happy we're able to provide something in return. done.
So you said it is 6 days that way, and one day, and up that mountain.
Up that mountain, yes. I will try to convert into distance the 6 days flying, as I can be a bit more accurate.
Yep, you're able to give them the distance since you just go by the crow.
Yeah, the capital. Suppose the closest city. I'll give them.
Alright. Then with that, the dinner ends. Do you all go back to your
Back
ship
up
and
to the
leave?
boat.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Okay.
Is that a positive or a negative? That was the positive.
Well, considering it went well, it was probably the negative.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Well, if it's if this is the first one, that was the one. So I'm assuming guess it's the negative. Mm.
Oh, there we go. We don't know how positive and negative works.
No. Maybe I should have saved the negative upgrade. Get something really negative.
I think we've turned a tier 3 negative into something beneficial for us before. And I want to say
Okay.
I want to say Greystone was like a tier 3 or 4 positive.
Well, it wasn't tier 3 or 4 positive, but yeah, it was a positive somehow.
So, as you're traveling, you see what appears to be.
Did James cut out on me?
Nope, I did.
It was James.
Just grabbing the image of it for you. Because it is a difficult creature to describe.
Wasn't just chilling right next to
Well,
nation.
there's about 8 of these things. Running with their 8 legs. And they appear to be porting short distances of 80 feet. Of up to 80 feet, I should say. Here is what they look like. Can I get a nature check from you, Nilvarius? And potentially from you, Sabo.
Nature?
Yep. You both succeed. This creature is called a leap grill. They are naturally blind, but they can sense things within about 120 feet through the air. They also can sense magic, and their sense for magic is much, much further, several miles.
Do they seem to be reacting to the ship?
Yes, they seem to be fleeing from it.
Are they basically just more like animals than anything else?
Yes.
Any reason we should chase them down and blow them up?
No.
I'm not asking you, Kevin.
Hmm.
There's some. Are they strong? Do they have valuable materials?
I mean, given that they're a special creature by nature, their blood or body byproducts could be used in rituals or magical items relating to teleportation.
Alvarius, do you want to get some of those reagents?
As interesting as I honestly would be, I'm also never been inclined to simply hunt something down and kill it for that sake.
Well, how else are you going to get their bits?
Sadly, we wouldn't if we ran into them and they attacked us, that would be a different story. But they are actively fleeing away from us. Not inclined to kill these things just because they're there and they're useful to me.
Shrug.
What'd you say?
Sure, it's Savo shrugs. They're useful. That's what they're there for.
Not all things exist just to be turned into reagents.
Know of any other use for them?
Are they extraplanar creatures, or are they native creatures to the world?
Oh, they're native.
Well, before they were native to the Feywild, technically they were invasive species to the Feywild.
Oh, they probably would be, considering that there's how much, just the magic you probably can get from the Feywild, but they're actively running away from us. No, let's continue on our way.
I mean, you said invasive species, right? In large numbers?
At the moment, you only see 8 of them.
Okay. Let's.
You know what?
Alright.
Is there Is there any reason to suspect that they would be intrinsically dangerous to our plane, to the material plane, based on what I know about them? Should I take a lore check instead? Should I make that assertion?
You won't be able to fail. Okay, so with these creatures, they aren't dangerous to a plane, they are dangerous to civilizations to an extent. If for some reason they think that they can hunt a civilization, for example a small village, walls won't keep them out. They can pass through those like they're nothing. Same for buildings and such.
Are there, from our vantage point and any sort of maps that we might have, are there any other like settlements even remotely nearby?
There is a few tiny villages and farms all around this area. A pack of 8 could take out a farm, but they would not be able to take out a village. In fact, they likely wouldn't even enter a village because of how many people are in there.
Until, of course, they get enough numbers, I'm assuming.
Yes. They're not too dissimilar
Maybe.
to lions in that regard.
Repeat that?
They're not too dissimilar to lions.
Oh, okay. Maybe it might be wise to intervene, because them being down there can actually cause harm. If I recall, there's a village nearby, isn't there?
Oh, there is a few. Some farms. This is Ventrix land.
Yeah, this is all around the capital.
Because if these things are allowed to continue to reproduce, just the number that we see right now is capable of taking out a small farm. Eventually they'll procreate, and then they'll eventually move on to a larger settlement. It might be wise to deal with it before it gets worse.
Sounds like if we don't deal with it now, someone's gonna deal with them in a bit. Might as well go.
And he looks as like, are you okay with this, Kevin? Because ultimately, if we stop them here, we stop them from preventing misery to other villages.
Depends on how we go about this.
Unfortunately, these things are animals. You can't really reason with them in that way.
I'm not talking about that.
What are
Well,
you
I don't-
talking about?
How are you planning on going about this?
Gonna chase them down with the ship and blast them with the arcane cannons.
No.
Oh? Well, unless you have a better idea, that's what I'm doing.
That gives them no chance to defend themselves. If you want to take them out from the ground. They're trying to flee. They're causing no harm. If you think they're dangerous, meet them on their turf.
I'm gonna go and say no.
Is this just an open field that they're running across, or are there other like forested areas that they're running into, or what's the terrain actually look like?
The terrain in this area is mostly hills and fields. They don't seem to be heading towards any kind of forest, though there isn't forest really for miles.
How fast? You said these things. How fast are these things running? Like, what's their move speed even look like? It sounds like they're just booking it.
They've got a land speed of 40 feet and they can climb 30 feet. They can also teleport roughly every 3 rounds. And when they teleport 80 feet.
It's a weird way to spell blink dog.
Mm.
They're not fluffy.
People like blink dogs. Blink dogs aren't necessarily... Well... These things were originally the Shadowfell's equivalent. Spider-like, scale-like.
Anyway, I'm gonna start bringing the ship around, chasing them.
Okay. You are taking the ship into position.
Sabo, don't do this.
Do you want to go down there and corral them?
That corralling them makes it worse.
Then what do you suggest then? We go down there and let them actually run, because last time I checked, neither of you can even keep up with them anyways. They would simply run away. So unless you have a more elegant
Yes.
solution to this problem.
So we either let them flee, like they're doing, or we fight them on their own turf. We're not blasting them out of
Oh, you're not
Sabo.
blasting
from
them.
the
I'm
sky.
blasting them. I'm
Sabo, do you want to
blasting.
open
I
fire?
don't care. Yes, I'm not. I'm done listening to exactly what Kevin says. I'm not doing just what Kevin says every single time Kevin says something.
Okay. Did you end up taking proficiency in the arcane cannons? If not, it's just dexterity plus... these are +2 quality, so +2. Sorry, +3 quality, so +3.
Well, I have improvised proficiency for everything.
Okay, so you get to apply that then.
Might actually take proficiency in the cannons eventually, since I'm out. So, dexterity, you said?
Yep.
It's
Fucking
an
noob.
20.
I am almost certain that is a crit. Let me see.
It's a nat 20, James.
Oh. Then I am certain that is a crit! Okay. Roll me 6d12, please. So, the first cannon shoots out, and the solid blast of force slams into the creature, knocking it prone, as it is almost killed by a single strike. The creature looks really, really badly injured. You heard a howl and almost a cry from it. Reloading to get ready to fire again.
I mean, I have 5 cannons.
Okay, on to next then. Aiming for the same one.
Is it like a single target? They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I finish off this one.
As you crit it again, blowing a massive hole in it, it is dead. There's literally no way minimum damage would have still been enough to kill it. As the thing explodes, torn into several chunks. Okay, Nilvarius, Kevin, you've seen Sabo open fire, and he's moved on to the next cannon. Are you doing anything?
Nope, he's not. Yeah, he's not. He just let Zabo do his thing.
Okay. The next
I
cannon.
don't think there's anything. That I
Did you
really
reroll
can
the
do
19?
here.
Sorry, the nat 1, or are you keeping that roll?
Am I? Do they blow? Is there any penalty for nat ones on these cannons?
So the cannon stalls, takes 5 points of damage, and needs to be mended before it can be reused.
That's fine. Cannon
Okay.
can stall. Actually, I got another nat one. Fuck it, I'm gonna reroll the other nat one.
Okay.
What a miss.
That one is a miss, but the 35 is a crit
Yeah, well, I rolled the
as you
damage.
blast it. The next one is just as badly injured as the last one.
That take up my my whole turn doing the broadside.
Well, it'd be move as one action, aim as one action, and then fire as one action. So
Okay.
each batch is one round.
Virus, can you get that one? Third one.
I have never used one of these things before.
Oh,
I don't want to break it.
I mean, with the spell.
How far away is it?
These things would be over 200 feet away.
Let's see. Do I have anything that has that kind of range?
Well, when we pass by it, you know, we're kind of going around.
Onto the ship.
Right. I mean, this one I can get close to. I'm not too scared. Oh, are they still in the pack?
The one that fell down is not in the pack anymore.
Yeah, so we're gonna catch up to it.
Oh, wait, are they all actually just running
Yep.
together?
Yes, for the most part.
I have a long
Oh.
range fireball for them.
Oh, if that's the case, and they're 200
Chain
and they're 200
lightning.
feet away. Yeah. Pew!
The bane of my existence.
So yeah. Reflex 39, please.
Well, they have plus 18. Let's see if they can do this. Fail, 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 fail.
3 crit fails.
Yep. Roll your damage. The lightning tears through them. 3 of them seem to be hit by it way harder than the others.
You said 3 of them crit failed, so they actually they're taking double damage?
Yep.
Oh, so that means those 3 would have actually died then, so that would actually been 100 damage.
Yeah, it's 100 damage, but they've got
Correct.
110 HP.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let Nelvarius do another chain lightning and finish the rest off.
Unlimited power.
He sighs to himself. I guess it doesn't really matter because actually, maybe it does.
Sorry, what was that, Novaris?
Any point. I just recast a chain lightning again. Is there any point? Is there any point in actually rolling saves if they're that low on HP at this point?
You'll probably need to cast it one more time.
I'll finish off
just-
the rest after this
I
chain
just,
light.
I just cast it a second time.
Yeah, I meant one more time after that. Just because it depends on if they... Well, it depends which ones fail, but let me see. 3 would most certainly leave no survivor. Ooh.
Oh, or at least one of them takes half.
Yeah.
The other one is on very low.
One of them actually takes no damage. Oh no. 16, that would still
No.
only be knocked up to a success. Okay.
That's 26 hit.
26 is a hit. Okay, roll your damage, Navaris.
I'm sorry.
Varus already did. No, Varus isn't casting.
Ah,
so
sorry, 67.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're dead. The one that did
I finish off
survive
at 20.
just gets blasted apart.
I'm gonna bring the ship around so we can harvest the bits.
Well, I guess I should. What's their XP?
At last, he is one of us.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. Every player likes XP. Let's be real, but Nilvaris didn't
Kevin.
really take. He didn't take any joy in the task, but it's kind of a necessity.
Yeah, while they were doing all of this nonsense, Kevin's just going below deck, so he doesn't have to watch it.
Oh, we're just having a nice little safari.
2,129 XP each.
Is that divided among everyone on the ship?
That's divided among everyone on the ship.
You said 2139?
Yep. Oh, 2129.
29, okay.
and you're harvesting the organs. You just want to take
That was
the
last one.
corpses onto the ship and then discard anything that you don't need in the future.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Cool. Okay, so you jar up all of their blood, harvest all of their scales. I'm going to need... where is that? Sorry, this is a new skill check for me. Don't think I've got anyone to make this sort of check since I switched systems. What one does harvesting fit under best?
I mean, you can argue for nature, you can argue for medicine, you could probably even argue, no, I guess not research. Research is just actually looking at books and shit.
I would argue maybe survival with subsistence.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to
survival,
say
yeah.
that survival is the most applicable, with medicine being a secondary and crafting being a third. Medicine would be used if you wanted to keep the organs in a functioning state, but I'm sorry, these organs are no longer in a functioning state.
Well, the chain lightning ones might be.
Yeah, do you know how lightning kills creatures? It's by exploding their organs.
Okay.
Excuse you, I put electricity to the heart, their heart stopped. Excuse you?
Yeah, it stopped by exploding.
Alright, that's fine. I will +5 that to get to 37.
I can probably assist. Yeah, I can
I,
aid.
crafting is a much higher check, but it would better to go primary. You can have a seizure saw.
I'm not very good at helping with this, I guess.
Nelvarus, what's your level?
14.
Okay, Sambo's in. Oh no, that's not a critical failure, never mind.
That's a nat 1,
Actually,
wouldn't it be?
no, that is a nat 1, so that knocks it down one category from a failure to a critical.
Okay, fine. I'll re-roll this.
There you go. That's
and
better.
that is a success, so that is a plus 1 but
I thought assistance is +2, isn't it?
I believe it is plus
I'm
1
only
per
trained, it's
category.
+1. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I understand. Okay. Well, mine's at 36. Plus Sabo's stuff.
37. Okay. So you're able to harvest these at plus 2 category. Okay, so you get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 154 pounds of 154 pounds of leap grill blood.
What's it called again?
Leap grill, Leap Grill.
That converts to 38.5 bulk.
Oh, sorry, I should be giving you this in bulk.
It's okay, I just convert. Whatever's easier, I can just convert whatever's necessary.
And 19 bulk of scales. These are +2 category as well. Or +2 quality, I should say.
It's not an inconsequential amount of harvest. Since we're here and there's another village that's nearby, maybe should we take an opportunity to actually detour to see if they've seen any more of these creatures? Just a quick stop off to see if they've actually been attacked.
Anyone against that idea?
Kevin's in his room. He's not there to be asked this question.
That's fine, Sapo's there. Mr. Sapo?
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Yes, I'm for that. I take the ship towards the village.
Okay.
Assuming that's not too much of a detour, isn't it?
No, it's like 50 minutes at most. So half of an
Oh,
hour.
okay.
So you stop by the village. They are astounded by your ship. They've heard rumors of a flying vessel, but it is unheard of for such a small village to be visited by a flying ship.
Obviously, I would go down there to go ask questions, and I describe and can I speak? I'm assuming do they have guards or anything? Do they have any sort of, authority there?
They have 3 guards to the entire village.
Okay. Point me in the direction of your guards. There's some questions I need to ask since we're here.
Alright, you get taken to the guard. Rufus. He seems to be a man in his 70s. Rufus Guardsman.
Guardsman, have you seen any strange creatures that look like blah blah blah, and I word vomit the description of the creatures? Have you seen any more of these creatures around in your village? Have they attacked you at all? Or any other outlying settlements?
We've seen them a couple times. 2 or 3 of them on the outskirts of our village. They've never come in, though.
Are you aware of any dens? Or any place that they
Can't say
congregate?
that we are.
And you're not aware of them attacking any villages nearby?
No, I'm not. Are they going around attacking villages?
Well, I guess not yet. I guess probably we stopped it before it had the opportunity, before they had the opportunity to do so. They were an invasive species on another plane, and it would have been highly likely they would eventually have started to attack, starting with your town, with your village, likely propagating and then moving on to larger settlements. So hopefully it means that we might have stopped this before it had the opportunity of getting worse.
Okay.
Anyways, that's the only reason why we had to stop by. We have to go, but we wanted to make sure that you and yours are safe.
Do you want us to
Before we
report
move
any
on.
sightings to the capital?
Yes, you absolutely should.
Then we'll do so.
I'm assuming we leave.
Alright.
As we make our way back to the capital, I'm gonna spend time to try and actually like research these things, determine their properties and whatnot. Maybe at some point in time, Lubin takes interest, and maybe you see if it jogs anything in him.
Leuven seems unfamiliar with these creatures, though. His mind is wanting to study it. Like, it's like a child looking at a puzzle. They just want to play with it.
Well, he lets them try and figure stuff out. He does give him like pointers and tries to give him more formal direction about how he should be like analyzing it, that kind of like logical direction he should actually take.
Yep. He initially starts out quite strong, but then gets stuck in a loop. It happens a few times. Sorry. He starts out quite strong and then gets stuck in a loop. You are able to break him out of a loop relatively easily, but it happens a fair few times.
Yeah, he remains patient with them.
He seems relatively capable, but he just can't do things himself without supervision. He'll get stuck and then he won't be able to help himself out of it. He won't even be aware that he is stuck.
Dorian Leuven, we'll get this in time.
Okay. So, as the ship approaches the capital, Novarius, you sense teleportation magic.
From where? Like
On the ship,
someone's casting on the ship or someone's coming to the ship?
someone has appeared on the ship.
Oh.
After
Hello?
that day of travel, Kevin would have gotten
Oh.
back to the top deck, in case it mattered.
When all the nasty business was done with.
Yep.
Someone's teleported to the ship.
What about?
I can't tell. But something's here. Something's teleported to us.
Can we see anything, James, or nothing?
No, but Novarius, you sense something invisible.
Do I have a direct? Do I have any sort of direction? That it's
Yes,
coming
you
from?
can tell exactly where it is.
Okay. It's this way, I think. I go on the anyone that follows me, but I go on the direction of where that's at. A little on guard.
Yep, you get to about 10 feet away from where it is, and you can see quite clearly where it should be. Does anyone here have true sight? Or see invisibility?
I can
Nope.
cast see invisibility.
I'm gonna be hiding.
I have
Right.
the sense of scent imprecise. That's the best I got.
Does that thing stink?
It doesn't stink particularly strongly. Okay. Well, if you can see me... The creature drops its illusion.
What is this creature?
They appear to be a human. Just quickly posting them.
Assuming you don't recognize this individual. I'm gonna go on a limb.
My name is Alice.
Greetings, Alice. I am Novarius.
I am a Celestial.
Greetings. What exactly has brought you here that you needed to come here as covertly as possible?
I wanted to see this ship.
Well, you could have just asked.
Well, as a
Yeah, except this vessel doesn't belong to this nation, so
That's true, but you're supposedly loyal to this nation, are you not?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you being celestial doesn't exactly make you special on this boat.
They look a little bit caught off guard. They then look around the room. Oh, you're Celestials. Except for you. They point to you, Novaris.
Now you got it.
Is Alice's true name obscured, or is it readily viewable?
It is readily viewable.
Okay. Where exactly did you come from that you managed to teleport up here?
I was in the city below.
Oh, we made it back to the capital already?
This is as you guys are getting close to the capital. You're probably about a mile away.
Oh. Okay.
We weren't aware that there was other Celestials currently here in this nation.
You could have waited until we made port.
And again, you could have just asked.
Probably would have been wise that way. It's not exactly safe on this vessel.
No,
Not for the uninitiated, anyways.
you're lucky you didn't die.
I am certain that there is nothing on this vessel that could kill me.
I'm certain you're wrong. How many times have you died so far?
This is not For your reference, Alice, these aren't threatening questions. This is just Kevin's unusual way of communicating with new Celestials, it seems like.
And the boat is heavily trapped. That's what Kevin is implying.
I see.
He made it to kill me. Because, it's hard to kill Kevin.
That doesn't seem
So if
particularly
we kill
hard.
Kevin,
That's not a challenge to try and kill Kevin.
I didn't take it as such.
Good.
If I had, he would be dead.
Imagine so.
that still doesn't answer my question, though.
What was your question?
How many times have you died so far?
Enough that I don't remember the full count.
So more than 8.
Easily more than 8. 8 was several digits ago.
Huh. Well, she's died more than I have.
Looks like you are not going to run out of deaths anytime soon, Kevin.
That's good news.
Given the amount of times that you have died, I'm assuming you're probably quite intimate with the limits on celestial regeneration.
Yes, you can usually come
Probably
back one
lost.
time for every 10 or so creatures that you've killed.
Oh. You've killed that much, Kevin?
No?
Or is this referring to the essence cost necessary for actually allowing for regeneration to occur? Is that what you refer to?
Oh, you've heard of my science.
Huh. So considering you died that many times, you must be quite... must have arrived quite a long time ago. James, just to be clear, have we heard the name Alice? Because Alice was one of the ones who were original in this
You've
nation,
heard
right?
the name, you've not heard anything more than the name.
I have heard the name, the celestial name. Are you that famous Alice?
There is only one of me. And there will always
Oh.
only be one of me.
Okay. Lucky that none of us are Alice. I'm Sabo. Nice to meet you.
Yes, it is good to meet you, Sabo. As for when I arrived, I was among the first group of Celestials to arrive.
Oh.
How long ago was that actually?
Over a century now.
Celestials really are that recent. I was always the assumption that there's a possibility that there are some that came before than just before a century ago, but if you were among the first.
They arrive every year by the Celestial calendar.
But this started a century ago then.
More than a century ago now. Nearly a century and a half.
How many of us actually are there?
Well, about 1 in 10 make it past their first year. 1 in 100 make it past their first century.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that Celestials seem to get themselves into all sorts of situations?
I'd argue that
The virus.
exclusively is why.
You
What was
try
it?
to
I'm sorry.
not get yourself into situations if you've got no knowledge of anything whatsoever.
Of course, but what did she say?
Almost exclusively why.
Oh,
How many? You gave us how many survive, but how many arrive? Just
5 per
five-ish every year.
location, and there's probably a half dozen locations.
are you aware of the
Oh.
mechanism?
We come from another world. Dead worlds.
I know that, but I'm more interested in is what exactly is the mechanism that allows your people to actually come from these other worlds. Because judging by the information that Nia and Sabo has shared about the worlds they come from, they seem to be parallel, but with slightly different events taking place on them. I'm more curious about what exactly pulls them from the other worlds and brings them to ours.
I have been investigating that for the better part of a century.
So by the math you gave us, there's less than 100 Celestials in the world.
You could extrapolate as much. 100 Celestials who have made it past their... well, who are going to make it past that point in time.
I'm just looking at the first year survival rates and they're right.
Yep.
And then not even taking into account the 100 years.
That sounds about right. That's what she
Ah.
tells you.
Well, the true we're hated absolutely everywhere except for this nation.
I think it's less that we're hated and more that we're feared. When we
Oh.
first came into this world, people tried to subjugate us. I put an end to that.
Guess they didn't like that.
They did not.
And judging by our interaction with the dwarves and also stuff we've heard, I can't imagine that knowledge about Orn and people that might do things like you do gives Celestial any sort of positivity associated with their coming.
Indeed.
So Alice, you're from Earth as well, right?
Yes.
When are you from on Earth?
I'm not going to go giving you all of my life story. Some things are personal.
Can you give me a century?
Depends, can you give me a century?
I mean, I suppose. I'm sure I'm probably just going to be upset when I hear your century, though.
I didn't know you had a century inferiority complex, Kevin.
Tubbo, I want to know if all of you are from the future or if it's just the two of you.
Then ask. Well, tell then ask.
So you're just not going to tell me?
I'll tell you if you tell me.
17.
I'm after that.
Dang it. Why is everyone from the future?
Well, obviously there's not a whole. If you were coming there to see the ship, obviously there's nothing we can do to stop you. So I guess it doesn't really matter if you decide to go walk around and peruse. I'm sure Sabo can give you a tour.
I suppose so.
That's what I like to hear. Compliance will get you a long way with me.
Okay, let's go.
She goes on your tour around the ship. Where did you get an idea for this ship?
Uh, I don't even remember how I got that idea.
When you were first describing it to me, I put the thought in your head that maybe you could make something that could fly. I've heard of
Right.
dwarves in the ancient past used to make it. Maybe that was when it first started, and then once you got a hold of what you needed, that you really took it to heart.
Yeah. So we, the three of us, I guess there was four of us, arrived on a tiny little island in the middle of the ocean. It was quite sad. So the better part of the first year we spent surviving and building a boat.
I see.
And as there was a very small crew, I had to get creative with how to make a very small crew work a boat. Then, at some point, of course, we had to use sails to begin with, but sails were not always reliable, and I invented, I suppose, a different propulsion engine, which used slimes to push a turbine that rowed the boat. That served us quite well for a bit. As I kept looking for improvements to the technology and with these ideas of flying ships of the past, and obviously the boat couldn't go on land. We thought that maybe we should try making a flying one.
Interesting. And cannot teleport.
No.
I've given some thought to that, Sabo. So maybe that's something to work on in the future. But it's something I've honestly been entertaining.
And how did you come to get
What?
this mortal elf?
That's a long story. We quite early on, and we met the elf at one of the towns not too far from here. And apparently, by sheer luck, his former pupil was our magic teacher traveling with us, and Waters joined us.
Seems like quite the coincidence. Did you not consider the idea that he has manipulated your memories in order to implant himself into your social structure?
I lack the skill set for that kind of enchantment, but I guess that should be flattering that you can make that assumption.
I mean, his apprentice already manipulated my memories once. It's fine.
It's possible, but he hasn't really been hurting us, so.
I see.
What makes you assume that I would do something like that?
I would never assume that you would, but it is certainly a possibility. And until I've had it ruled out, all possibilities are potentially fact, until otherwise proven.
I suppose that's a reasonable way to look at it. Since you seem to be have quite the wealth of knowledge, perhaps you might know something that I would otherwise rule as impossible. Are you aware of any means to mend someone's soul that has after it has been damaged?
I have witnessed it be done.
How?
The pupil that was spoke of, his name is Leuven. He was killed and his soul was twisted and tortured for information. We managed to arrange to have him resurrected, but when he has come back, he is broken. Are you aware of any methods, even if it's anecdotal, of how exactly such repairs can even be made to happen?
Why would you use this on this Leuven?
Because we care about him?
Is it
I assume
simply
you
because
you
you care
asked that.
about him?
Yes, he's my student, probably one of the brightest human minds out there. Honestly,
Then you should let him die instead.
as much as I would have preferred that outcome for him, that is not what he would want.
That has never been what he has wanted.
Well,
I'm curious. Why would you? No.
There doesn't seem to be much of him left to have wants.
If he was to be mended, wouldn't that there's N to have the wants?
I get some sense of reluctance to tell us. I'm assuming that the process of doing such a thing would have extraordinary cost.
Yes.
What kind of
Considering the
cost are we
ship, I
actually?
imagine you could actually pay it. But it is a dark cost.
What exactly is the cost?
Brand new young souls of his race. His native
Oh.
race. Whatever he originally was, you will need brand new souls of his race to harvest for parts.
Yeah, that cost is too high. I guess he's gonna have to. Considering the damage done, is there a possibility that he will eventually adapt to his new state?
I would
Even
need
if
to
it takes a
see
lot of
him
time?
to give you any form of estimation.
I will happily bring you to him. Obviously, I walk and I'm assuming she follows.
Yep.
And I open the door, and whatever Leuven's state is in, Leuven. Her name is Alice. I'm going to see if it's possible that if it's possible for us to provide any real help for you, whether or not we can help you from your current state. Please do whatever she asks of you.
That boy is hatching a plan to collect some brand new human souls.
Okay. Leuven seems to be a bit out of it at the moment.
Does he register when I talk to him that to do as she asks?
Yep. I'm not sure what to tell you. Alice is just standing in the doorway looking at him.
Can he eventually adapt?
No. In fact, I do not think there is much that can be done for him, even with the treatment. Yes, it may work, but I put his odds at maybe 15%.
No. I wouldn't want to sacrifice newborn souls anyways.
Why not? Is he not valuable
It's
enough to
inherently
you?
wrong. He is valuable, but innocent lives should never be sacrificed for one individual, especially their very souls. He is valuable to me. He is important to me. But no individual is worth innocent souls.
Why not?
Why not?
Yes, why not?
They're not.
Okay, but why?
Do you think it's wrong to destroy innocent life if it advances a goal? Is it correct to cause suffering if it achieves
Okay,
your goal?
what is life? We need to discuss the definitions before we can discuss mechanics.
Are you that detached? You've lived here on this plane amongst its people for 150 years, it sounds like, or something along that line. Is that a correct assumption? But you can't answer that call. Are you that detached to know innately what's right and wrong?
Virus. I think we've seen plenty of native people to this plane who have very different definitions of what is right and what is wrong.
I am asking you,
So it's
what makes something have a life? Let's just see if we can define what having a life is first.
Do you want to discuss what having a life is?
You don't want to discuss, or do you?
You're the one that's launching this line of inquiry. I just can't understand how that can be rational. How you can rationalize that.
Well, would you kill an animal?
You cannot compare the two. You cannot compare sentient life and in the
Okay, so
souls
you
of
care
these
about sentience.
souls. No, we're not playing this. We're not playing this game of semantics, Alice. I don't understand where exactly this comes from. There's an inherent difference between sacrificing the life and body of an animal for the sake of food. We're not destroying the creature's soul in the process.
Okay, but what if we do it before the creature? Let's say it's a brand new infant. One day into this world, it's not lived. It doesn't have thoughts, it doesn't have feelings. It just knows hunger.
They do have No, they have thoughts, they do have feelings, and that is innocent life that you're not destroying for the convenience of doing something else.
Why? Why is it wrong?
Because why is it wrong?
Yes.
Are you playing devil's advocate here? Or I don't understand. I can't fathom how you can think otherwise. People are not tools that you can simply use at your leisure.
Why not? Most nobles use
Because
people as tools. In fact, all national leaders use people as tools. They use them for their self-benefit and for the benefit of them.
I didn't say that makes it right either.
Well, you seem to have a problem with it. So do you have a problem with nations as well?
Depends
sounding
on
quite
the
irrational
leadership
here.
of a nation. Navarius looks annoyed. It's not irrational. The irrational part is your line of thought.
What makes it
Maybe
irrational?
it's a different. Maybe it's just the difference between different celestials. It's incredible to me how a celestial like Kevin can come from a similar world as everyone else and have beliefs of how inherently sacred life is and how wrong it is to cause suffering. But then you have others who who actually take apart that logic for their own benefit. It's insane to me.
Do you know what seems insane to me?
What, Alice? Tell
That
me.
you've not been able to give me a single fact as to why it is sacred. You are just saying over and over and over that it is. And that your way is the right way.
And what then what it's not just my way. It's the way of the world. It's inherent. It's what is the reason why you believe that it is not?
Because I have no
right to use people
evidence
as
that
tools.
it is. Because the entire world functions on people being used as tools. Every person on a ship, I imagine, has a role to play. You are tools to each other. Sure, you think of yourselves, each other as more than that, but fundamentally, that's what you are to each other.
But all of us agree to our individual tasks. We're not being forced to make that choice.
Okay, so find half a dozen humans who are willing to sacrifice themselves for your friend. I'm sure you'll be able to find some.
Sacrifice their souls. Most humans don't understand the importance of their souls. Some humans still are willing to trade their souls to devils in exchange for currency. How inherently important a soul actually is. Besides, you said it needs newborn souls, and
yes,
I couldn't do that.
You couldn't ask a mother or a father to sell their child to you?
I would rather return Leuven to the earth than to sacrifice newborns.
Oh, so now it's about what you would rather than what he wants.
I'm sure. Fortunately, Leuven is not in the state to really say and actually make that judgment call. Leuven would sacrifice a lot, but I don't know if he would be willing to sacrifice newborns for that.
So then he doesn't want to live by any cost necessary. If he doesn't, then the only answer is to put him down now. I can do it myself if you would like.
No, if he is going to be put down, it's not going to be by some stranger.
You seem to be having a hard time with justifying most of your opinion here. You seem to be very... Well, how would I put this? You seem to only really care about what feels right, based on probably your upbringing, I'd imagine. It's very strange for an elf. Though I can't say I've got much experience with elves. Your society has always been quite distant from us. Why do you travel among these mortals? These humans, I should say.
To do what I can to do good. A lot of elves live sedentary lives, and they don't see the world. They don't see any possibility of helping or improving it in one way or the other. Maybe that's a flaw in my own personal decision making. That maybe it would be best to stay as distant as possible. But there's always something that can be done to actually help others, to
What makes you
decrease
think that
suffering or
there's any
remove.
flaw in your thinking there?
I don't know. It is different. It is different from how a lot of other elves think.
Yes, but that's presuming that the other elves are right. And presuming that people are right without any evidence as to the fact is wrong. It's the wrong way
My
to approach
people
things.
have my people have existed for tens of thousands of years and have actively watched as other less lived races commit atrocities for whatever gain they make the decision of. They have the luxury of actually having that knowledge of seeing things happen within their time span and understanding what people do to themselves, of actually making a good informed judgment call based on what they based on what they see, based on what they
Do
experienced.
you know what you just told
And
me?
of course, what is it, Alice?
That your people stood by and let atrocities happen over and over again when they knew better. Do you know what that tells me? That your people are as bad or worse than the races committing those atrocities.
A very long time ago, there was a pact that was signed that specifically forbade elves from interfering with elven cultures from interfering with human affairs.
And the fact that elves signed such a pact is just them agreeing. Wait, hold on a moment. So you're saying that these people are so young that they are committing crimes against themselves over and over and over again, and your civilization agreed to sign away anything to do with that? That sounds like intentional neglect. You chose to not let it be your problem. You chose not to care.
They were asked. No, they were asked not to.
Oh yes, and when an infant asks you if they can jump into campfire, you say yes. Does it seem to you like humanity was in any position to make an informed decision there? Especially for the long term.
Nilarius is he's intentionally silent as he's thinking mostly as the player is thinking.
Yeah.
So, Alice,
Yes, your name was again?
Kevin,
Kevin.
you seem rather confident in your abilities.
Yes.
How skilled are you with magic?
Exceptionally so.
Do you have any practice with breaking curses?
I cannot say curse breaking is my expertise. But I
She
have
appears to use
enough
arcane.
practice.
She appears to practice arcane magic. Kevin, maybe she might be able to help you with primal magic. Maybe.
Can't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have been trying to work on for quite some time now is breaking a curse on a castle. The information we've been able to gather so far on it is that it is a primal curse of roughly 13th or 14th rank magic.
Seems simple enough.
Would you care to lend your assistance then?
What's in it for me?
I couldn't possibly know what you would want.
That's disappointing.
Well,
You could elaborate on what you might want.
I could, but given what I would charge for my services, the ship itself would not cover it.
In that case, do you care to lend any friendly advice as to what resources I might be able to utilize outside of yourself?
One of my apprentices, Morgana, she possesses a Rod of Disjunction or a Scepter of Disjunction. I forget exactly what it is. It is capable of breaking most spells and curses that it comes into contact with. It is my usual solution for curse breaking. Of course, she's several oceans away right now.
Well, I didn't exactly expect this to be easy.
Why are you trying to break a curse? What curse is affecting you? Or affecting this location?
You. I don't know how familiar you are with the area, if at all. Have you heard of the location known as Castle Greystone?
No, should I have?
Probably not.
Wait, is
Hasn't
that
done
where that
anything for
axe
us except
is?
I don't know.
The axe of kingslaying.
Not that I'm aware of.
Pity.
Why?
It's been on my
What's
list.
I mean, what do
No,
you know of the
that's
location?
Castle Redstone.
Oh, okay.
Such poor naming conventions.
the curse affecting that castle traps any individual, living or dead, but not undead, that has committed murder, uh, to be trapped within the border of that spell. They can be killed there and they will just return to life. They can leave, but as soon as they sleep, they'll come right back. And the curse itself suppresses a lot of magic as well. Or at least the ability to recover magic via resting.
Why not make everyone in that nation an undead? Take away their need for rest, they will be free, and the curse should fade with time.
Well, there's several problems with that. I'm going to ignore the whole part of make everyone undead whether they want it or not.
Okay, if you see that as
But,
problematic, then let's consider something else then.
well, part of the other issue is that they're guards of that castle make a regular habit of going weeks without rest to travel all around that region. And that solution would do nothing for anyone that happens to go into the castle after that solution is put in place.
Alright, I have an idea. The
What's your
land
idea?
itself is what's binding them, right?
We're not sure. The king of that castle has tried a lot of things for locating the source of the magic. The entire castle has been rebuilt brick by brick. Uh, James above table, didn't he also do something with the land?
Oh no, he's not done anything with the land itself.
I don't know if he's done anything with the land itself, but they've made quite the effort for trying to eliminate any kind of source. But they've been unsuccessful for hundreds of years.
Have you considered taking the people out of the land and throwing the land into the sun?
Well, barring the fact that I don't have the ability to throw a chunk of land into the sun,
It's not particularly
if
difficult.
if the curse is on the land, and anyone who leaves the land gets transported back to the land the moment they go to sleep. If you throw the land into the sun, wouldn't those people just go back to the land once it's in the sun?
Only if the binding can actually reach that far. Everything has its limits, all magic does. If the spell can somehow tie them between spheres and between worlds, then the only choice then is to break it, but that sounds like it's going to be incredibly difficult for you, so I would say this is probably your easiest solution. And if it doesn't work, well, then the problem's solved another way.
No, I would argue that it's not.
Why not?
Because then our actions would have just caused the suffering of hundreds of people.
Well, there's always a chance that you're going to fail to destroy this ritual and you might make it impossible to destroy. Or you might make it so that they do suffer. There's always going to be a chance of something going wrong. But if you're not willing for there to be a chance of something going wrong, then I guess you're going to probably spend the next century trying to figure this problem out.
If that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take.
You seem to want things done the right way, instead of just getting
Yes.
things done. Do you know what that tells me?
What does that tell you?
In your lifetime, you're going to get very little done, but when you do get something done, it will be done the right way. That's going to leave a lot of people to suffer. Getting it wrong some of the time is worth it in exchange for making a larger difference.
Believe me, I am not without fault. But I'm still going to try to do it the best way that I can.
You've been rather quiet, Gnome. I like your style, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Don't really have much to add to either of these discussions. I'm not really so bound by morals.
So you made this ship.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a fleet of them here?
Can't make more.
Why is that?
Well, can make more. Expensive as fuck.
Damn. It always seems to be that way with things. Everything that is cool and interesting is far too expensive to replicate. What was your takeaway of my discussion with Navarius, the two of you?
Well, fact that attempting to repair the soul requires sacrifice and still has a very low chance of success probably means that we should think very carefully before committing to it.
Of course you should.
I
If it goes poorly, there won't be enough of your friend left to try again. Of course, there's not exactly much left of him now to try at all.
not if Nalvarius thinks so strongly of not going down this route, considering the low probability of success, I would probably respect his wishes. I imagine that Kevin's going to be on his side anyway. The rest of our companions probably agree. Not one to go against everybody else. Do a bit of
So
a
this
democracy
group,
thing, yeah.
you don't have a specific leader.
No.
That's rare. Normally Celestials, before they even get out of their arrival areas, they have the leader.
Well, it's difficult. As for the curse, I was very happy just find Kevin's intent on saving them, and well, I don't care enough to contradict him in this regard. Doesn't really hinder anything that I'm interested in.
Makes enough sense. Well, I'm gonna be in town. She looks to you,
Okay.
Novarius.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Alice turns back to look to you. I'll be in town. Let me know if you ever figure out your whole deal. She gestures to you like you're a thing.
I have little interest in continuing this line of conversation, Alice.
Yes, I can tell that.
The radical differences between humans are always perplexing.
Yeah. Bye. She casts Translocate.
That was interesting.
He's quiet and sort of just like in the room with Leuven, just like leaning up against the wall, just like looking at the ground. I'm sure there's other things the both of you could be doing than standing in this room with Leuven. You should go attend to them.
I nod and I go attend to some things.
Alright.
There was
we-
a thinly veiled threat, basically him saying, "Get the fuck out! I don't want to see anybody right now."
Are we over the capital or in the capital at this point?
Yes.
Cool. I'll go visit Linzel.